I just thought of something else again. I know I keep harping on this Sean Lewis offensive coordinator thing with Colorado. Just to give you guys another example of how I think that Sean Lewis is deliberately seeking out self rather than team. He's trying to promote himself. He's trying to prove and show how great of an offensive coordinator he is because he does have the weapons. But you may have the weapons on the outside, but you don't have the dogs, quote unquote dogs, in the middle. I'm going to give you an example, and I want you guys to make this connection quickly. Remember Zach Wilson. It's an NFL example. Zach Wilson, the quarterback for the New York Jets, right? Now, we understand that the New York Jets, they have a decent offensive line. They do. But we know that Zach Wilson is not a good quarterback in terms of reading the offenses and throwing anticipatory throws to receivers and putting the ball where it needs to be. We know that for a fact. So, the offensive line is not the issue for Zach Wilson, but Zach Wilson is the issue for Zach Wilson. Okay, imagine if the offensive coordinator, okay, for New York Jets, Nathaniel Hackett, let's imagine and say that he says to himself, man, I got to prove to people how great of an offensive mind I am. You know what? If I continue to pass with Zach Wilson and prove that I can devise a cool passing scheme and a cool passing offense with the below average NFL quarterback, that'll really show how great of an offensive play caller I am. You know what? Even though I know Zach Wilson is not that great of a quarterback, I'm going to continue to pass the ball. Now, let's take that same concept, all right, and attach it to what Colorado is doing. Now, there's a little difference with what Colorado is doing. Shedeur Sanders is actually a good quarterback, unlike Zach Wilson, who's not a good quarterback. Zach Wilson has a good offensive line relative to NFL standards. It's a decent offensive line. It's not horrible. However, Shedeur Sanders for Colorado Buffaloes, his offensive line is atrocious in terms of pass blocking. There's a difference. In the last video, I said that you can have a team that has poor pass blockers, but then they're good in the run scheme. So the different blocking arrangements are different. So the idea that Zach Wilson is a bad quarterback, but the offensive coordinator says I'm going to keep on passing, that's the same thing with Sean Lewis, knowing that the offensive line is struggling against UCLA. You know what? Let's forget about the whole season. Let's just pinpoint this one game, because Sean Lewis has been doing the same thing for the entire season. This is not just one game. But I'm going to just, for the sake of being fair, or for the sake to make it so it doesn't seem like I'm piling on the guy, because he's atrocious himself. His play calling is atrocious because he's acting as if Shedeur has the best offensive line in college football. Throwing the ball on every damn down. You got to be kidding me. But let's assume that Sean Lewis has never done this before. He knows how to mix it up. This one game alone, if I didn't know who Sean Lewis was, the first question that I would ask myself is, who's the offensive coordinator? Who's calling these plays? Who's calling these plays? I mean, who is it? I mean, come on, like who? Like what? You can't do a screenplay. You can't. I mean, do something to slow down a pass rush. Run the ball. You can't run a delay handoff, a delay dive. Do something. And he has the talent to. So I want you to take that analogy. It's analogous to the offensive coordinator for the New York Jets, knowing that Zach Wilson is a subpar quarterback, in terms of passing the football, but because Nathaniel Hackett has an agenda, and this is just hypothetically speaking, I'm using this for an analogy. If you're catching this video in the middle, you're going to end up taking it out of context. I'm making a comparison to what Sean Lewis is doing with Shedeur to what Nathaniel Hackett would do if he was allowing Zach Wilson to drop back for 50, 60 pass plays a game, knowing that you have a subpar quarterback. If you are a competent human being with half of a brain, not even a full brain, you don't even need a full brain for this. If you have half of a brain, you would know for a fact to say to yourself, you know what, this is not working. let me try to incorporate some more runs. But you know what? Running the ball doesn't show how exotic he is. It doesn't show how genius of a coach that he is in terms of drawing up offensive plays. It doesn't. Running the ball is just running the ball. But you know, smart coaches know that when you make adjustments like that, it does show how smart you are. Yeah, running the ball may not be exotic because you're just running the ball, but it shows that you were willing to switch and make a change based upon what was going on in the game. Sean Lewis is just bullheaded. He's just straight ahead. Pass, 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 pass. 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 And I'm telling myself, like, goodness gracious, man. I mean, do you think that the offensive line is just going to all of a sudden just become great in the middle of the game that they're being dominated in? Like, do you just think that something's going to just happen, like by osmosis? Just something's going to just occur out of the ether? Think all of a sudden just going to just, oh, we're great. Oh, we're going to be a great offensive line right now. No. They did the best they could. They're just not as talented as the defensive line of UCLA. And they're not, that's their weak point. If you want to point to a weak area of Colorado, it's their offensive line. But it's not as weak as people make it seem, because when you overstress the offensive line with pass plays after pass plays after pass plays, especially when that's their weak point, they're going to be exposed. Then when Shedeur gets hit, everyone looks at the O-line and says, hey, it's your fault. So something has to be done. Coach Prime has to dig into Coach Lewis, and you got to get that guy an ultimatum. Man, look, man, if you don't change, you know what? I know what I think Prime is doing. He's allowing Sean Lewis to hang himself with his own rope. Give him enough rope to hang himself, because all these things are going to be attached to his resume or his evaluation toward the end of the year. Coach Prime's going to look back at this and say, yeah, remember this game, too one-dimensional. We have too much talented running backs. Cavassier Smoke, Alton McCaskill, Wilkerson, Dylan Edwards. Too much talent. It's not even an attempt to run. To not run at all. And remember, and don't think that Sean Lewis he just thinks that they can't run. What did Chip Kelly do when they were up toward the end of the game? What did Chip Kelly do? He decided to what? Run the ball, kill the clock, slow the game down, keep Shedeur on the sideline. Because Chip Kelly knew that the clock was their friend and the clock was the enemy of Colorado. I just wish Sean Lewis had that same mindset when they were up by 29 points against Stanford. But his dumb ass came out in the second half just throwing the ball as if Colorado was down. Yeah, it was crazy. Insane. All right, just the last video I'm going to make about this. I just can't believe that an adult with a brain can't see that when everybody in America can see that. Even your own coach, even your own head coach, Sean Lewis, is telling you that. Mix it up. You're too fucking one-dimensional. Crazy. I guess we'll see what happens next game.